let's talk trading secrets. Unfortunately, though, I don't mean secrets in the sense of, oh, everything's as magical and mystical and you have this little pill and you swallow it and then all of a sudden it's as easy as that. No, we're going to talk honest secrets here and what it really takes to make money as a day trader. And this is probably the biggest lesson that I could show you, that I can teach you, and that you need to be able to master. Because if you cannot master, the way this kind of mindset sets you up for failure, then, well, you're just going to fail. You're not going to have success. And I want you to be successful as a trader. And this is one of the biggest hurdles that exist out there. And again, the truth of the matter here, the secret is that even if, and I'll just use my courses. Let's say you invest into my class, you go through my training. Even with all of that, I'm sorry, this is probably not the best thing from a sales point of view, from a marketing standpoint. But if you were to even go through all of my stuff, then what I'm going to show you here, I mean, it's still going to be up to you. It's still going to be what's going on. It's a mental battle. It's a mental challenge that you're going to have to overcome. And I wish there was some sort of, like I said, just take my classes and it'll completely fix you. Now, if you take the classes, I would argue that it'll make overcoming this challenge easier, but it is still going to be a challenge nonetheless. So to set this up, and just so you know, I'm not going to be sitting here talking in theory the rest of the video. I'm going to show you 2 different live trades. And that way you can see kind of the comparison and contrast of just how dangerous and how this trap kind of sets itself up for you. So let's first go over a trade, and I want you to show you, how it played out. So let's go to this. And again, this is a real life trade that actually happened to me. So let's go to my desktop and watch. All right, well, I am at this point going to go ahead and pause. And if it looks like it wants to recover back up or give some sort of entry point, then I'll get the video rolling. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get long here at 53.25. I think this thing wants to make a movement back to the upside here now. So in at 53.25. There's the break of 53.25. Can it get up through 53.50? That's what I'm very curious about. It's working its way up there, kind of. So let's see what this thing wants to do here. Well, at this point, I might go ahead and just pause the video as it kind of just goes sideways at this area. So I will do that. I'll go ahead and pause, and then I'll get the video rolling if it looks like it wants to actually make a move. I still like the overall movement here, so just adding another 500 more, because I still like the overall trend here. I think it still has a good chance of getting back above 53. So let's see if it can do that. So I have 1,000 shares at 52.82 average. Like I said, I'm looking for that break back above 53. So still just trying to consolidate out here.
So working its way up, well, kind of working its way up to 53. At this point, I think that if it does break through 53, it'll pop very, very nicely. Pop meaning move rapidly to the upside. But it really does seem to be consolidating out here nicely. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause for the time being. Okay, added some more down there at 52. So my average is 52.55 with 1,500 shares. But like I said, I'm still bullish on this thing. So I took some off at 52.65. But let's see if this thing wants to make another go back to the upside here. So I did lock in some profits there. But 52.50 needs to get out of the way. So can it work its way back up to do battle with 52.50 now is the question. It's trying to. Well, the 52.30s now seem to be the annoying part here. It can't get through the 52.30s now. So it's got me thinking if it can get through the 52.30s, it's got a good chance. So once again, 52.35. That general area really seems to be the key area of resistance. Yeah, look at this, ridiculous. Can it get through the 52.30s? All right, all out there. Not going to fool around with it anymore. So unfortunately, a loss of $700. I gave it plenty of time to try to work with me. It just didn't want to. So it is what it is.
Yeah, so got stopped out there, but now let's go to my desktop and let's see what actually happened after I was disciplined, after I honored my rules, honored the strategy, and took the loss. But what happened next? Let me take you back to the desktop and I'll show you what happened.
So this should look somewhat familiar. That's right where I got stopped out of that trade. But let's see what happened next. And you can see, as embarrassing as it is, that very next candle, the very next minute, got a green candle, and then got an even bigger green candle, and then got even more green candles, and up it went. Not only did it go up to where I originally thought it would get to, it just kept on going and even got up over $54. So quite literally, sold right before it turned in my favor. Not a pleasant experience at all, but the key dynamic here was I honored my stop loss, I honored my risk, but yes, not pleasant, not something I would wish on my greatest enemy, but you know what? It should happen every now and then as a trader, assuming, of course, you're honoring stop losses and managing risk.
Yeah, totally frustrating. You get stopped out, and then it goes in your favor. In fact, I almost sold the bottom. I didn't quite sell the bottom, but I got stopped out basically at the bottom of that move before it went right into my favor, which is, where I thought it was going to go. Plus, it actually even went higher than where I went. But that's the trap. Because now going forward as a trader, and I this happens to me too. So I'm talking to myself just as much as I'm trying to warn you, whether you're a new trader or you have a lot of experience. But the trap has been set. The trap is what? The trap is, hey, remember that one trade where you sold and then it went in your favor? And your mind is going to always be pushing that towards the forefront of your mind. And you're always going to remember that. Well, remember when I broke the rule, but by breaking the rule, it actually went in my favor. That's what's going to be at the forefront. Your mind is going to try to always shove that forward. Your mind is going to try to use that as some sort of justification, as some sort of excuse on why to just break your rules that one time. Just don't honor your risk management protocol that one time. So that's how the trap is set. Now it's going to be my voices, your voice are going to be so focused on this one super annoying trade. I mean, those trades are the worst. But now it's going to be just sitting there. And those voices in your head are going to be using that, kind of dangling that as the carrot. But let's take now a look at a second trade here. So let's go to my desktop and let's take a look at this trade.
I think Boeing is wanting to eventually pull back down here a little bit more. So in 500 shares at 220.77. So we'll see what it wants to do here. Wondering if I should have waited a little bit more. Clearly I should have now, but at the time where I got in, I still felt good about it. But yeah, like I said, let's see if we can get it back down to 220. And better yet, even maybe break down through 220. But as of right now, not looking so good. If we could get a nice candle here with the upper shadow, that'd be very, very nice actually. So I do like that candle, but still work to be done here. If it gets up over 223, I will have to be out. Would love to see the markets roll over here a little bit. That would be helpful. It's got to get back down below, well, there we go. I was going to say it's got to get back down below 221 to have a chance. I mean, it's trying. But a breakdown below 221 would represent basically a failed bounce here, which would be great. But as you can see now, it's like, or I shouldn't say a failed bounce, a failed move to the upside. But as of now, yeah, it was a failed breakdown, which is not good for me. I want to see a breakdown. Like I said, that's what that 221 is representing. But as of right now, looking like this thing might actually just want to break out. So I'm mentally prepared now to probably going to be taking a loss on this one. And got to get out there. So loss of $1,100. Not a great way to start off.
So yeah, once again, took the loss. Not pleasant to take losses, not an enjoyable experience, but I once again had to take the loss. So what happened next with this one? Well, again, let's go back to my desktop and I'm going to show you what happened next.
Hopefully this looks familiar here. That is right where I got stopped out and had to take that $1,100 loss. But the key, just to set up the context here, to keep the math as simple as possible, but I owned 500 shares. So that was my position size, meaning for every dollar the stock moved, that would equate to how much? Well, hopefully you're saying, well, that's $500 then. If you own 500 shares and it moves a dollar, that would equal a $500 either profit or a $500 loss. If you don't follow that math, not a big deal. That's just kind of a good mile marker that within your trading education, you have quite a bit of ways to go, which is fine. Again, no judgments on my part. We all start off brand new, and that's one of those things you got to understand is the math there. But if you're like, yeah, Clay, I got that math, perfect. I would say that now you're not a professional trader, but you're definitely well on your way. So that's how it's set up here. So keep in mind, and that white line there represents where I got out of the trade. So for every dollar this moves upwards, that would have been another $500 loss. So let's see how this plays out. So right there, goes against me that much more. Consolidates out a little bit, consolidates out, and then boom, that much more. So at this point, it's essentially gone up to 227. So I got out again at 223. So as far as the math is concerned, that's another $4 move against me. So $4, and if every dollar represents a $500 loss, that's another right here already $2,000 loss extra onto my trade. That's terrible handwriting, but that's supposed to be $2,000. Okay, so there's another $2,000 extra. Well, it went up even more. Went up even more. Consolidates, pulls back here a little bit, acts like it might want to roll. You know, again, if it goes back to that line, at least that would be break even at this point. Or excuse me, that wouldn't be break even. That would still be a loss. So even to get back to that loss of 1,000, you can see that it acts like it's going to go down there, but nope, look at that. Now it's up at 230. So just for time's sake, continues on up, and you can see it is not coming back down. It is doing the exact opposite of that first example we saw. And then right there, check it out, goes even higher. And at least at the recording of this video, because I'm doing this the same day, it's gone up as high as I think 234.50, but let's just call it 234. So what is the math on that? Well, it went up as high as, like I said, 234. And if I was undisciplined about it, and meaning I did not get out at 223, well, that's a difference of $11, right? So that's an $11 difference where, again, because I was disciplined, I got out. And I'm going to actually make this green because that's very good that I got it at 223. So $11 difference. And what did we say every dollar represented? Well, every dollar represents $500. So 11 times 500 equals what? That would be an additional loss of $5,500, which would make the total loss $6,500. So let me say that again. By not being disciplined, by letting the previous example kind of corrupt my mind, that would have potentially cost me very realistic. And who knows, maybe even more. I mean, maybe Boeing on this day is going to go up that much higher. But as of right now, as of the recording, we're already looking at a potential additional $5,500 loss. So when you look at it like that, you know, getting out at that 223 mark, good job. It's a good thing you did that. Yeah, absolutely. I realize it might have rolled back in my favor and I could have been playing the game again, but you as a trader, you need to understand that this sort of thing could also happen where it doesn't go in your favor and it just continues to go further and further and further in the opposite direction that you want it to go. But in this situation, by just being disciplined, by honoring the stop loss, I was able to keep the loss at $1,000 compared to, like I said, potentially $6,500.
Isn't that crazy? A potentially $6,500 loss. $6,500 compared to the loss that I took on it. I mean, that's crazy. But you see how these two things conflict? That first trade, oh, Clay, remember the last time you honored your stop loss? You would have had a green time. Well, all it takes is for one of these types of trades where you listen to that voice and you break your rules and boom, you're down $6,500 or you're down some sort of big amount relative to, everything else that you could have been down. So I get it. You're not alone. It happens to everybody. Whether or not they want to admit it and show it on YouTube, that's a different story. But I assure you, people, you are going to sell the top. You're going to get stopped out at some point, and then the thing's going to go in your favor. And you're going to sit there and be like, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. But now just remember, the trap has been set. So going forward, just be aware of this trap because I want you to be aware. And I'm trying to scare you through, not theory, but through a real life result. That was literally a trade that happened. And to kind of bring this full circle, by taking that loss, at the end of the day, and I'll put this screenshot up right now, you can see that I actually was able to close green on the day by $275. So by honoring that stop loss, by keeping my risk under control, it allowed me to actually still have a green day. Whereas imagine if I had to climb out of a $6,500 hole. That's probably not going to happen. Or I'm going to just make the hole even bigger because I would increase my position size to try to have to dig out because now I need a massive shovel and the wheels fall off the bus and now all of a sudden, instead of a $6,500 hole, it's a $10,000 hole or something crazy like that. I mean, have you been there before? Where you make a trade and it's bigger than what it should have been, and then all of a sudden you start to try to overcompensate in your revenge trade and forcing trades, and then that hole gets even bigger. I mean, I've been there. So if you've been there, you're not alone, but we got to avoid it. And in many cases, these big old nasty days come from, if you trace back kind of the history of them, the evolution of them, they come from some sort of trade that happened where the first one is, where you're disciplined, you honor your system, and then all of a sudden you stop out and it goes in your favor. And then that sets the groundwork, the trap that eventually engulfs a lot of people. But I want to just offer you motivation and inspiration and hopefully maybe scare you a little bit about please overcome the challenge by staying disciplined. Overcome the challenging by realizing just how nasty things can get. So I hope this helps. I hope this just lets you know that, as day traders, it's not easy. It's a big mental game, and the mental game can be cruel. And these two trades, I thought, did a fantastic job of kind of just like I said, how the evolution of a big nasty day happens. A good disciplined trade all of a sudden morphs into and is justification for breaking rules, and then all it takes is one rule break, and then things can really fall off the wheels can fall off the bus very, very quickly. So if you enjoyed the video and want me to make more of these types of videos, a very easy, quick way to communicate that to me, please hit that like button. Also, leave a comment, question, suggestion down below. Can you relate to any of this? I mean, in anything in the video, can you relate? Let me know. And that way, maybe traders that are new or just getting started, they can realize that, yeah, this stuff is real. Now, hopefully they already know that given I showed two real life examples. But I mean, if we get some more feedback down below from other traders that can experience, like I said, any of these sorts of things, then I think that would help everybody out, which is the point of all this. And then finally, check out the channel as a whole. If you enjoyed those live trade videos that I showed snippets from, I actually have an entire playlist on the channel. So be sure to check those out and hopefully you decide to hit that subscribe button. So yeah, get out there, understand how your mind works, understand how these mental traps are laid. And when you understand that, you're gonna have a much better chance to avoid them in its entirety. And that's what we want. Sometimes the best way to make money is just simply avoiding the dumb things in the first place. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.